You'd have thought the weather would have stayed this good after qualifying.
Oh, not me for sure. There was still some damp patches on that bottom bend early on in this race, but it looks now, Keith, as if it is genuinely dry all the way round. Certainly is out here at Clearways in the sunshine. Still Stalker leads, still by, whole of, 2 bike lengths. From Stevie Hislop, that is 10 bike lengths back to John Reynolds on the Red Bull Ducati in third.
Big problem, of course, here is if Stalker leads this race and acts as a pace man for the 2 men behind him. Oh, and again, Walker sideways on the brakes. That is a style of Chris Walker. There's a few riders that carry that one off throughout their careers. Walker is one of them. He is really, really very, very talented on a motorcycle that's out of order. And he looked then as he came up in the Druids. There is Hodgson on 4. 5 is Hayden right with him. It's a back marker that's on the yellow plate. Yellow plates, of course, on these Superbikes indicates that that's a privateer. The white plates are the full works boys.
And 12 was Paul Jones, the X250 man from last year, who you may remember winning the opening round of the 250 Championship. And we now go into Clearways. Kidney first, Clearways coming up, and Hislop looking so smooth. He is really piling the pressure on Chris Walker. But you said it earlier, Keith.
Oh, and again round the outside. I did say it earlier. And this is going to be a long way round. Hizzy, we've seen him do it on JR. He's going to have a go at Stalker now, but Stalker's a different kind of man when it comes to the braking point. Yeah, I thought as much. He managed to get round the outside of John Reynolds. No such luck when it comes to Stalker. He's not going to take any of that.
Talking of John Reynolds.
Indeed. Reynolds is back with us on the... I thought he might be having a bit of a breather.
just it dropped off half a dozen bike lengths.
Well, he's over 30 now, isn't he?
Yeah, he has to have a rest.
Oh, and sideways, more black lines out those rear wheels. Well, this is where the punishment is a-coming, because the tyres are absolutely getting used very, very hard indeed.
Big look over his shoulder from John Reynolds as he came down the hill from Druids last time.
Well, this is what he's looking at, isn't he? Right back towards the back markers, we have Stalker leading Hislop, leading JR. These 3, they're out on their own. These will be the podium order, provided they all finish.
Absolutely, a battle going on for 4th and a lonely Mackenzie in 6th. And again, Hislop tracks the Suzuki. Doesn't try a move this time. Has a look at the inside. I don't think that was serious. There's all the yellow platers.
Yes, and that's exactly what I was trying to get to earlier on. This lot have got to cut their way through the back markers, and they're in their own battle, of course, so...
for their own points in their own championship.
Big problem, yes. There's a Privateers Championship as well. For those of you that aren't familiar with British Superbike rules, the yellow plate bikes are in their own battle for their own championship, their own pot, and their own place on the podium at the end of this race.
And when you're a privateer struggling to put diesel in the van to go home, you don't actually care that Chris Walker's coming up behind you if you can get another couple of places.
Yeah, get in the way of him though, and you might care.
That is very true.
Chris Walker still leading this first race in the British Superbike race championship, I should say. Look at Walker making that thing shake its head.
This is going to be
nice
tricky.
And smooth at paddock, it certainly is. Round the outside then, Chris?
Heavy traffic.
Oh, we'll do one. There's one round the outside.
Inside the other one on the apex. Oh, perfect.
Out into the sand bit, possibly for you. So Colin Hipwell there on bike number 88.
The Suzuki man. Reynolds is caught behind him now.
Yeah, John Reynolds had, he has got a bit of a problem there, but he'll get under him going down here, I'm fairly sure. Come on, John, that's it, nicely, under the yellow bike, so JR makes it past. So, they are safely through the back markers like a hot knife through butter.
And yeah, here we go.
Around the outside. God, Chris, that takes commitment.
And that has detached Steve Hislop, has it?
Around the outside. God, Chris, that takes commitment.
And that has detached Steve Hislop, has it?
No.
Oh,
Hislop decided to detach that man from his motorcycle almost. If he'd leant in a little harder, he would have done.
Walker on the inside of the back marker at Clearways. The traffic is heavy here, but Chris Walker has come much the better of the leading pair out of that little load of incidents.
This is the big problem with this little 1.5 mile track. You're going to catch back markets. It's not that they're slow, it's just it's a very, very short track. And remember, the Works boys are on bikes that are measurably better than some of the privateers.
Very true, very true.
69 now, there, nicking Jamie Whittam's number, Steve Marks.
Yep, the leading 2 back to again. Reynolds back to 3rd in front of the last of the pack of back markers.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, JR's got a bit of work to do now, but still a long way to go in this race yet. And JR is the kind of man that paces himself. He's very experienced. Remember, he was British Superbike champion a few years ago.
And British Supersport champion even longer ago.
Well, you're older than me, so you'll remember that, Julian.
Yes, indeed. Now then, Hizzy. Up on the back of that fire-breathing Suzuki again at Clearways. Walker wrestling the thing as it twitches. Hizzy picking up pace, closing up. Has he got the drive?
I'll tell you what, he runs a real hot corner out of Clearways, but this is where it counts at Brands Hatch.
Braking.
And Stalker on the brakes in the paddock is something worrying. Rumour has it's his birthday this weekend or thereabouts. Not that he admits to any of those.
I was going to say, how old?
He tries to keep it to himself. The Clarion National Tyre Suzuki man out front. Doesn't matter how old he is as long as he wins races.
Correct.
still Steve Hislop, who is now 37 years old, I think.
That's
yes, dispensing with back markers. I think that was
Hodgson.
Was it Hodgson that was shoved it underneath? It was either him or Mackenzie, but whatever. It was a neat move.
I think that was Hodgson and Hayden carving their way through the pack.
Yeah, James Hayden, another one, of course, who, of course, he went from the Suzuki onto the Reve Red Bull Ducati. So there's a lot of movement this year with the top guys in teams, but still Walker, who was on the Kawasaki last year, he's had a couple of years with them, now comes through to the Suzuki, and Suzuki, in my view, were very, very fortunate indeed to be able to sign him after Hayden moved off to Ben Atkins' team.
Any team is fortunate to sign Chris Walker, I think, Keith. And now John Reynolds, every time I think he's done with, we'll have to settle for third, he closes right back up to the leading duo.
JR's my man, there's no doubt about it. He's very smooth, he's tactically absolutely astute. As we look back up, Hodgson definitely got fourth place organised now, Hayden in fifth, and we're looking back for Mackenzie. There he is.
He's taking a slightly more discretionary route through the back markers.
I'll tell you what, sixth place for Mackenzie in the opening ride on a new bike, not bad at all. And I wouldn't write him off yet. There's a lot of World Championship Superbike contenders that have got him pipped for great things again this year. He's going to be 40 at the end of this year, I think, Neil Mackenzie as well. Anyway, back with the race. We'll get the birthday call sorted later, shall we?
You're right about Stalker on the brakes there into paddock.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
But Steve Hislop, you cannot help think that he's just working it all out, and the way he rides so smooth. I have the feeling, too, that Hislop might well have saved his tyres for a fraction longer than the burning, rubber-turning Chris Walker.
Well, Reynolds appears to be out of shape as well, Keith. Well, that have got the tyres going.
I have a feeling, were they on Michelin's last year at Reve Red Bull? And
they were.
And they're on Dunlops this year, I have the feeling.
I think you're right, yeah.
So if that's the case, then Reynolds has had a whole... That's probably the biggest change he's had this year, is rubber.
And having said that, of course, Dunlop tyres historically slide much easier than Michelin's. So if JR is moving about a bit, maybe I shouldn't be so surprised.
Well, we'll wait and see. But coming to paddock bend again, and again Hislop looking at the inside line, but he's got to be very, very committed if he's going to get under Walker just there. Paddock Hill bend then.
Is Hislop rehearsing at several different places around here?
Well, the trouble is with Chris Walker, you never know what part of the track he's going to be on. It depends on how sideways he got off the corner or into it.
Yeah, 2 or 3.
Oh, and again sideways on, right in the face of Hislop there, down to that new modified part of bottom bend.
There's fourth
we call it bottom bend. They got proper names, but of course being old is we tend to call them how we remember them.
Yeah, bottom bend, kidney, clearways. That'll do for you and me.
Back of the paddock there is, of course, bottom bend as we look up towards the entry to clearways. This is a little second gear turn, then it's up through the gearbox. Big tyre churning, spinning. 175 horsepower, 180 horsepower, trying to put down through a contact patch the palm of your hand as we come to the line now. It's still stalk up, more back markers coming into view. Chris, get them sorted.
He'll get to them first, and he'll warn them, of course. Oh, look,
Hizzy, get on the inside line there.
No, not enough drive.
Walker, I think it was a camera angle that had us fall down. Look at JR coming up the outside as well. So,
looking smooth again.
Well, wife Shelley will be looking in the opposite direction. She won't want to be watching what he's about to get up to. And sideways again, Walker. Oh, that is not a back marker. That looks like, was that Paul Young or Michael Rutter?
It was lucky enough to be Rutter, wasn't it?
One of the level 3 bikes, that's for sure.
White plate on means works bike, yellow plate means privateer. Hislop is getting excited.
Tell you what, just there on the inside up into that braking point, it's quite tricky just there. And Hizzy again, getting good drive again through clearways, but Walker, well, it doesn't matter if he ain't got a tyre. He could be riding on the rim and he'd still find some traction somewhere, couldn't he? And again, the Yamaha man shakes it. The Virgin Mobile Yamaha of Hislop in second place on bike number 8. Still 2, Stalker leading. Then it is number 3, the Reve Red Bull Ducati of John Reynolds. We're at paddock. We have got at Druids a whole load of back markers coming up now. Hizzy looks to the inside and up the outside.
Oh, wishes he hadn't.
Oh, dear me. John Reynolds then goes through into second place.
Now, that was neat, Keith.
The Nottingham man is right there. So, having robbed Hizzy,
he's now thinking about the Stalker, isn't he?
Through goes Nottingham men. Hodgson goes through, Hayden goes through. That's 4th and 5th place, but all eyes, 24,500 people here are watching this. 15,000 pre-sold tickets for this opening race of the year. Brand new sponsors of the series in Motorbikes for You, mb4u.com are the new sponsors. Look up that webpage. You'll be excited by what's on it. So it is still leading. Chris Walker, he's done the majority of the work. He has a new paceman, wingman. It is number 3, John Reynolds. I have the feel. Oh, look at these back markers. What a lot of... Oh, this is going to be...
Brent Sampson knows they're there, number 77.
Indeed, on the Kawasaki from Plymouth. Oh,
he breathes in.
Meat in the sandwich was Sampson.
And third place man Hislop has really got the nasty end of the stick there.
Oh, and Hizzy's up the inside of Sampson as well now. We look back up the track to see Hodgson back there in 4th place, but still it is Stalker Walker that leads this race.
Was that a bad deal for Hizzy, that, as John Reynolds gets
It is a
heavy.
bad deal for Hizzy. Has struggled a little bit there. He'll get up the inside just here.
Oh, he's back, he's
rejoins
back.
his Reynolds, but I think Reynolds is the man that's